Hey everybody, another live episode of Talk Fort Dodge here from the offices of Jeremiahjcondon and Todd.
Todd
Actually, I'm
McCubbin.
in my wife's office, but it's close.
It must get pretty serious over there. You got all the file cabinets right behind you.
She works harder than I do. She gets all the background stuff, so she's in here filing everything, writing checks, doing all that stuff. So she stays pretty busy, and she loves working from home. If you listen really close, you can hear the dogs chewing on a chew toy in the background, making all kinds of noise. I'm sure they'll come up to say hi in a little bit.
Well, Todd, it feels like we're both wearing sweatshirts, but I think the sweatshirts can come off here in the next couple days to weeks.
Yeah. We have to do our weather preview for today. So weather preview for today is take the afternoon off and go enjoy it.
Yay. After a morning fog with a delay.
Yeah, don't call me to do anything between 2 o'clock and 5 o'clock this afternoon because I'm going to be outside.
Well, we have a good topic today because we had one of our listeners ask us a question.
Yep, what is it?
The question is, what is Talk Fort Dodge? And it's like, oh, that's a good question. And maybe that's something we should have done on the very first episode we ever did.
I think we did address it for a minute, but I don't know if we really. I mean, let's just take some time and answer the question. I mean, Jeremiah, what do you think Talk Fort Dodge is?
I think Talk Fort Dodge is just two guys that love Fort Dodge. I was born and raised, and Fort Dodge has been good to me, and I want to raise my children here. And you and I are in real estate, and we get to see the community from so many different angles. And I believe we started this just to tell people the good things about Fort Dodge. And at times we bring leaders on from Fort Dodge to talk. Sometimes we just talk about Fort Dodge.
Yeah. And if you go back and look, every episode we have is somewhere in Fort Dodge. I mean, it's talking about what's going on here, what we're doing. We've had conversations about, sometimes when it's 30 below zero, it's a great time to get out of Fort Dodge for a couple of days. We had that one talking about vacations and getting away. But no, and I couldn't agree more. I wasn't born in Fort Dodge, but I moved here when I was really young. And this town, this community has been so good to me and my family that I want to celebrate that somehow with some giving something back. And I think this is a good way to push this back to the community and say, this is a great place to live, work, and play. And you need to keep your families here if you can. It's a great place to move to, and we absolutely love it here.
I mean, I think we both feel every time there's a problem or you hear something negative, I kind of get on the defensive right away. It's like, all right, so what's the problem? What do we need to do to fix it? And I say that because I'm here and I'm here to stay, and my kids are here. And, if there are any problems, and I think someone mentioned that, Fort Dodge used to be a bad place, and Little Chicago and Dirty Dodge.
All those things.
And it's not. If it is Dirty Dodge, look at 10th Avenue North. I mean, all the construction.
Well, speaking of that, what North 8th Street? Have you been down North 8th Street where the city has worked so hard to take those houses that are just dilapidated and get them torn down and turn that into hopefully a development? You know how cool and I've talked to a couple of councilmen about this, how cool it would be to put a development there that leads straight into that downtown. And downtown's become more of an entertainment venue than anything else. I mean, you look at the different, of course, I got to promote Shiny Top, but then Koozies just opened down there, and it is so cool. And they're working on painting the outside of the building to get rid of that ugly yellow. It's 16 North 7th Street. So if you want to see an ugly building right now, go look. But, that downtown is turning into such a cool place to go, and hopefully the city and we can all work on continuing that. But getting rid of those houses that just, I don't think they're almost beyond hope of being a nice house. The amount of money you'd have to stick into them. So to make that into something where you can put a little development there and make it super cool would be amazing for that whole corridor coming down onto Williams Drive and that stuff. And the city, they've been working so hard. The Lincoln neighborhood behind Fairway, when they put those grants in place so they could build all those new homes right there, and the people that live there love it there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this town has changed so much from what it was 10, 15, 20 years ago. And even then I liked it. I loved it. But see the changes, to see the mall, some people are upset that the mall's coming down, but at the same time, they're building new spaces there and making it nice. The new Unity Point Clinic, DaVita's there. There's just there's a lot of things that's making that nice.
Well, and how many towns and how many cities lose their malls and have a plan put into place immediately? I mean, they're knocking it down, and then Discount Tire goes up like within the year. And like these buildings are going up so fast, and there's lots for sale and stuff, but there's plans for everything. And you hear about these other communities that they lose a mess, and it just sits empty for 5 years and collects dust.
There's a lot of places that happens to. So no, I think Talk Fort Dodge is just our way of giving back to the community to help push it out in new and better ways. And having Pat Hickey on the other day talking about the Marine Corps League steak fry. It's fun having Macy on and Christian because they're younger and have this whole different perspective of what it is to be here, and just listening to their input.
And hearing about downtown projects and the county assessor. And, we should have the mayor on sometime.
Yeah, we'll give Matt a call, see if we can get him on here. That would be cool.
But it's fun to just kind of see what's going on in the community and the positive things. And my daughter was one of them that did one of the art things for the garbage cans. That we had talked about on the show.
Those turned out really nice. It's nice having a garbage can downtown.
Yep.
Oh, do you know people actually Disney did a study on how many garbage cans you have to have and how many feet. They said people will, just in general, people will throw garbage on the ground if there's not a garbage can within like 10 steps of where they're at. And I think carts at the grocery store are the same way. If they have to walk too far to a cart rack, they're just going to leave the cart in the middle of the road.
Oh boy.
25-cent cart, helps a little, but get your quarter back. Believe it or not, that quarter makes a big difference.
That quarter.
Yeah.
It's funny. I don't know what I was going to say. Isn't it funny when you're like at Aldi's and you have your cart and someone's like, "Hey, sir, stop right there. Here's the quarter." And you don't have to walk all the way over to the rack. And it's like,
straight up the quarter. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
No, so I just, once again, when you love the community you're in, you want other people to know about it. And this is kind of our way to send it out on Facebook. Actually, also simulcast, this goes on YouTube under some search engines about Fort Dodge. So hopefully people from outside of Fort Dodge can say, hey, what is this? YouTube seems to travel better than Facebook does sometimes. So it's also on YouTube if anybody ever wants to watch it there.
And, I love doing like community tours for some of these companies when they have somebody come into town or whatever. And I love doing them because I'm proud, and just like talk about the apple orchard. And then if they say they like to camp, I take them out to Kennedy and kind of show them the trail. And they're improving the trail. They're putting concrete down all the way around. They just did the bridge area. I noticed that yesterday. I noticed them starting it last year, but it looked really cool yesterday when I was out there.
Actually, I think they put the funding together to take it all the way to Badger. So you can go out to Badger, stop at the winery, and then that would be really cool. So,
yeah.
And Grace and I ride our bikes all the time. That's what we're going to try to do a bike ride this afternoon. So we'll see how that goes.
So even like a native, you're driving around and you look at different things, and it's kind of fun also to like hear what these people, when they get in your car, like what some of the other people told them to look for, like the places to get your coffee and the places. So then I drive by some of those places, and be like, that's what they were talking about. That's what they were, and it's kind of cool that other people have different opinions, different
things they look
places that they want to talk about.
Oh, and it sounds like there might be a Starbucks coming. That'll help a lot. That'll make a big, I don't want to say a big difference, but that gets a lot of people's attention because you have that national draw. And then you have Central Perk if you like that more local coffee flavor, something a little more smaller. And Rich and Joe bought that. So that's cool. They have that there. You still have your Applebee's and your B-Dubs, and then you have your smaller places. So It's
When
pretty
my
cool.
sister comes back and spends a couple days with us, she works from home, so she'll go to Central Perk and just sit there by herself.
Yeah, and work. It's easier
You
than
kind of you froze for a second. Your eyes were like, and it was frozen. It was hilarious. Sorry.
Oh, speaking of eyes closing and it freezing, the other thing Fort Dodge is about to have is a community fiber network. So fiber to every house, which is a huge deal. I mean, right now I use Starlink because the local providers just didn't work for me. So it's going to be great using something a more local and B as solid as fiber is. So I'm kind of excited to do that. I wasn't a big fan of it at first. I thought it was kind of a waste, but I am going to take advantage of it if they put it in because Mediacom never worked for me and Frontier never worked really well. So I think we're on the end of the block for cable. So it would go up constantly. I mean, it was so undependable. And this one's a little shaky sometimes, but it works 99.9% of the time.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, as the weather gets nicer, we'll probably start going places again and go outside. And
next week we should let's do a field trip next week and find somewhere to go. Hey, we got people watching, so put in the comments if you have somewhere we should go live stream from next Thursday. Put it in the comments. It's supposed to be nice again.
And if you have any topics that you want us to cover, somebody did a great one last week, and we will do one on that. We're trying to get a guest speaker. But if you have any topics,
let us know.
Something you want to know about this big city of Fort Dodge, Iowa.
Or somebody you want to hear from. We'll do our best to get them on. All right, well, have a happy day. It's a beautiful day, and we will see you guys next week on Talk Fort Dodge.
Bye, everybody. Whoop, whoop.